Oh, come on in, come on in, come on in, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's episode of Riding with KSolo, the podcast. Hey, folks, I have a heavy hitter lined up tonight. Um, a young man who has over 40 years of not only just riding motorcycles but practicing law. His resume is as long as my arm, and I'm just going to try to read off just a couple of his achievements and his significance acts. He is a graduate of Brigham Young University, Washington and Lee University Law School. His admissions are the state of Florida, state of North Carolina, District of Columbia, United States District Court of Northern, Middle, Southern District of Florida, United States Court of Appeals of 4th, 6th, 9th, and 11th Circuits, United States Tax Court, United States Bankruptcy Court, Seminole Tribal Court, Cheyenne Wind River Sioux Tribal Court, United States Supreme Court. He has had on some heavy cases before Congress. His honor and awards: Outstanding Program Award, National Conference of Women Bar Association for Maze of Injustice and the Violence Against Women's Acts of 2014. Lymphomia Society Man of the Year 2013. Shining Example Award 1989 for Act of Heroism. His affiliations are the Seminole Tribal Court, Hispanic National Bar Association, Florida Bar Association, North Carolina Bar Association, District of Columbia Bar Association, National Native American Bar Association, National Bar Association, Federal Bar Association of Indian law. Listen, folks, I could go on and on and on talking about his achievement. And he's a Hoka rider. And he's ridden over 500,000 miles. Folks, without further ado, I'm gonna bring him in. How are you doing tonight, sir?
KSolo, how are you, my friend?
Man, I could just see you going and going.
Man, I tell you, if I hadn't known any better, I thought that was someone special you were reading about.
Oh, man. I said, man, how can I introduce this man? How can I bring him in to the studio? Sir, it is a true honor to have you on with me tonight.
The honor is all mine. You know, I'm just a dude trying to be a dude helping dudes. That's it.
Oh, man. And you're doing an outstanding job. You know, from the moment that I saw your blog post for your firm, I said, man, I got to get Big Daddy on. So I had to stop the press. I reached out to you, and I know it didn't happen as soon as we wanted to, because it's all about timing, because I try to plan stuff out. But I said, I have to get you on, Big Daddy. I have to get you on. Yeah. And I saw you at the Hoka Rendezvous, and it was a done deal from there.
It's good. It's good to be here. I'm happy and honored to be on your podcast. You know, talk about ground pounders. You're one of the best. You are my idol. Man, you're my inspire, dude. That's who you are.
Right. That's right. I am just trying to just leave my legacy, leave a mark for my legacy, man, leave a footprint in the sand. And just like you, I'm trying to inspire and motivate others to be successful and achieve greatness in life. That's all I'm trying to do. I just want to welcome a couple of my guests in tonight. I got Bolo on with me. How you doing, Bolo? It's always good to see you, man. I'll definitely be reaching out to you. Jeremy, how are you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you are on Facebook, please make sure that you give us a thumbs up, give us a like. Even if you want to send us stars help us keep the program up and running. The bells are on. How are you doing tonight? Sharif Asadi, congratulations to you, my brother, on that
incredible honor.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we did the thing, man. And while we were doing it, we didn't even realize that we were doing it. We didn't even we was creating a grand slam for the IBA. So my hat off to you, my brother. Mr. Joyner Breezy, thank you for joining us tonight. Felix, how you doing? Thank you for joining.
Gato in the house.
Gato, yeah, man, yeah. Outstanding. Brian, yo, come on in, folks. I gotta welcome these people. David, there's my guy right there, Big Dave. Man, Dave
Joe Mears back from the scooter cannonball there.
Yeah, congratulations to him, man. They did an incredible job.
They crushed it, man. They crushed it.
They did, and then motivate, inspire me to want to get out there. I'm like, when is the next cannonball ride? I was just looking at the video. They was on gravel road and everything, man. I said, no, talking about. Judy, how you doing? Come on in, folks. Come on in. Welcome tonight once again. My special guest, my honorary guest tonight is Robert Sanook. We've affectionately called him Big Daddy in the Hoka community and on the motorcycle riding scene. So you will hear me refer to him as Big Daddy. That's his handle. That's what's on his Hoka vest, and that's how I will address him tonight, folks. Come on in, Chops. How you doing, Chops, Mr. Mosey? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Jimmy, good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Local boy.
Okay. It's good to see everybody.
He's recovering from an ankle injury because he was trying to do some fancy trick riding, like the police knights, and took a little hard turn and rolled over his ankle underneath his back.
Oh, Jimmy, what did you do to yourself? Oh my goodness.
Good man right there.
Oh my goodness. Joe and Bev, hey, Scooter Cannonball was a blast, man. I'm looking at the video. I'm still going back looking at some of the video Dana posted.
The photos that Joe
Kenneth
took
Andrews.
were great. Joe's photos were
Yes, man. I love it. Crowbar. Shout out to Crowbar. He just completed his 4-corner ride, and he did an outstanding job doing that ride. I had the honor to ride with him a little bit through the state of Virginia, and saluted him as he headed north up to Madawaska. So great job, Crowbar, man. I would love to get you on Trip Talk and talk about that ride. Kim, how you doing, Top? That's my battle buddy right there. But look, folks, I got to go and get this thing started. Where do we begin? We're going to take it back to Why I Ride. That is the title of this episode, Why I Ride. And you started riding when you was actually in college. Is that correct?
Yeah, my freshman year of college. I had no money. This is before there was NIL and the NCAA. You know, we didn't have any money, could barely make ends meet, feeding ourselves, trying to keep weight, playing football at Brigham Young University, and couldn't afford a car. And if you had a scholarship, you couldn't work a job, so your money was really tight. And I decided the only transportation I could afford was a motorcycle, and I'd never ridden a motorcycle before.
Right.
But I went up to Salt Lake City. I went to the local Honda dealer and found a Honda Shadow 700 and paid cash for it, and bought a helmet at the same time and turned it on, got on it, and took off down I-15 back to Provo. And that began my love of the road and the love of my face in the wind and getting out and seeing the world from a different perspective. That was my main transportation for 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, I could
Honda
only imagine.
700. Can you imagine my big ass on a Honda 700?
At 6'3", 300 pounds, I could only imagine seeing you riding that bike.
I remember riding to my first bike week from Virginia when I was in law school, and I rode down on that on I-95 all the way to Daytona. And I just didn't know any better. I was, that ignorance is bliss. I jumped on that thing and off I went, and no maintenance. I will say this: Honda's great, shaft drive, no maintenance.
Right.
It was an easy bike for a first bike to have, and I loved it. Up until I got run over by a bus in D.C. in 1991.
Oh man, that was a rough one right there. So that was the first time, because I have photos of you, man, and I don't know why it is. It just seemed like people just target you or whatever the case may be. But we'll talk about that a little bit in a row. Now you are based out of North Carolina. Is that correct?
Yeah, I live on the Cherokee Indian Reservation in Western Carolina.
Okay, and that's your heritage, Native American.
Yep, I'm an enrolled member of the tribe, a citizen of the Eastern Cherokee, and we're very lucky. And riding here is great because you've got the Dragon Tail, the start of the Blue Ridge Parkway, the start of the Smoky Mountain Parkway. You've got the Rattler, Devil's Back. You've got all these incredibly, and for those of us who've ridden the Hoka and come through this part of the state back in 2020, the Canada Road and Cherhola Parkway, those were all part of the Hoka experience for at least 2 rides that I know of.
Yes, it was. I remember that precisely in 20. Man, I tell you, it's like they had us doing a figure 8 up there, and I was trying to run the thing at night. I was hallucinating. I thought I saw cars. I thought I saw motorcycle lights behind me, but they were actually the lights in the front yard of some of the houses up there. And I mean, I ran myself ragged up in there, man. But it was a great experience, And you are actively and heavily involved in the community up there. Is that correct?
Yeah. But my grandfather was a chief back in the 50s and 60s, and my grandmother was the first female tribal council member for the tribe, and she sat in that position until her death in 1994. And I opened the first law firm on the reservation back in '97, and run for office a couple of times here, both as a council member and as a chief a couple of times. Didn't make it, but still practice law. And now I just sue the tribe as often as I can and make sure they behave properly and take them down when I can.
Okay.
But the house that I live in was my grandmother and grandfather's house originally, and I tore it down and built on it. So the whole community came to know this part of the reservation as a place they could go and get help. And so they knocked on her door, and no matter what community they were from, my grandmother helped everybody, and my grandfather did as well. So for me to be in this house as a lawyer, they still, my wife will tell you at 10 o'clock at night, there's a knock at the door, someone needs help. And they come to my place because they know that I never turn anyone away.
Right. Exactly. Now, you have a story. One of your selfless deeds, man, you was in DC, and was it the horse? Was it the horse that got away?
That was in Provo. That was in Provo.
Yeah. And that story is inspiring. You mind sharing that with us?
Sure. I guess. I was playing football at BYU. They have what they bill as the largest freedom celebration for July 4th. And the whole town shuts down. They have a huge fireworks display at the BYU football stadium. Famous people. It's been just a huge event. And they have a parade on Center Street or Main Street that shuts the whole town down. It's about 6 lanes across, and everything you can imagine comes down Main Street. So I was there with my family, sitting on the side of the road watching the parade, and I heard a noise, and I looked up the parade route, and I saw what looked like a wagon being pulled by 2 horses that kind of pulled out from behind some fire trucks and then careened back the other way. And I thought that was kind of odd. And the next thing I knew, they had run the full length of the parade and had turned around some other fire trucks and were heading right towards where I was sitting with my family. And the driver had fallen out. Someone had spooked him with an M80, and the horses were out of control, running full speed to where we were sitting.
Horses, yeah,
they were spooked, and the kids were in the back screaming and yelling. And all I could hear was their voices, and everyone got up and ran the other way except for my stupid self. I got up and started running at the horses, and I got very lucky, and I hit the horse on the right. I got him right in the chest, and I was able to get bridle and mane and reins all at the same time. Just grabbed them, and my big 330-pound self, they said it looked like it hit a brick wall, and I just pushed it back and was able to stop them and save the 11 kids' lives. This is before there was YouTube and Facebook and cell phones, so there's no video of it. And to this day, I don't know if someone recognized me from the football team or saw that I was there. But the next thing I know, I had Sports Illustrated calling me and NBC, and everyone wanted a story, and the papers picked it up. And I was just in shock over the whole event. And then eventually in Chicago, Alan Shepard, Rocky Blyer, Tim McCarthy, who took the bullet for Reagan, they voted to give me the Shining Example of America Award, and I was awarded that in Chicago in '87. Got to fly to Chicago and spend a week there with those very admirable Ron Coleman, the National Fire Chief Association. They gave me the honor of that award back in '87.
Yeah, man, and your honors and awards are outstanding, man. I mean, I could have just kept going on and on, probably the whole episode of just reading all of your achievements and accomplishments, Big Daddy. So, man, it's great. It's great.
just helping other people is its own reward.
Yeah,
You know that, brother.
I know that, man. I know that. You've been an attorney for how long now?
35 years.
35 years. Probably one of your most memorable cases to you. Would you say this is probably one of your most memorable cases?
Yeah, I've been until recently, I've been a solo practitioner, just my own firm, just me doing everything. And I met Jose in Fort Lauderdale. We were both actually working out at the same gym, and his brother got in trouble, and I helped his brother get out of that trouble, and Jose was impressed, so he called me because he had just finished his first book, Juiced, and needed someone to kind of help him through the book tour and going through that process. So I said, sure, I'll do it. I didn't know what I was doing. This is 05, 06. And I just, I had a lot of confidence, but he relied on me for a lot of good advice. And before we knew it, after the book came out, Congress started to weigh in, as they often do, unnecessarily. And we had an opportunity to testify before Congress with the House Ways and Means Committee with, Tom Davis, then the majority House leader, and Henry Waxman, the minority House leader. You can see in that picture, there's Bud Selig nervously sitting behind us as we're letting the world know the truth about what was happening in baseball.
Right. And man, they're back there sweating bullets.
They're sweating. But the funny thing of this picture is that table, there's me and Jose, and then next to Jose is Rafael Palmeiro and Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, Kurt Schilling, all down the row. I'm the only lawyer at the table. All the other attorneys from these gigantic law firms, they wouldn't let them sit at the table. But I told them if I didn't sit next to my client to protect him, I said we weren't coming. So they acquiesced, and they said, okay. So I'm the only lawyer you see sitting at the table with all the baseball players at that event.
Nice. Yeah, man, they were definitely sweating on that one right there. And we kind of laughed and joked about it in production, man. But, the outcome of that and all that it represented, I know it wasn't what he wanted, but also at the same time.
He told the truth. He told the truth. The rest of them all lied. Rafael Palmeiro lied there that day. McGuire lied that day. And they all got caught later in those lies. Jose is the only one who told the truth, and they still vilified him. And that's the unfortunate thing that we have in our society, is that when people speak truth that's uncomfortable, we attack them. We don't like the fact that they call us out at our weakest moments and ask us to be better. And that's what Jose was doing. He's saying, look, let's clean the game up. Let's make this a better thing for everybody. And they didn't like the fact that he exposed them for what they were.
Right.
And he paid the price, unfortunately.
John Levin. You're not like
That's
Saul.
John Levin.
You're not
That's
that
John Levin.
like Saul. Better call Saul.
That's a John Levin special. He did that with me and Gabe Carrera.
I know.
Yeah, one for Gabe and one for me.
I know, man. Big John.
Big John.
But you guys have been friends for a long time, you and Big John.
Yeah, it's 12 years
way back. Yeah, way back, man.
There's a photo of us with Jim Red Cloud at Tabletop on the way to Alaska in 2014.
Right.
And that was the year he got in a wreck.
Right.
Coming out and didn't make it that year. It was unfortunate. But yeah, John's a good man. Love him.
Good deal. Yeah, man. Good deal. And you also a family man to Amy, your wife.
My young family. The oldest there, the tallest one, he's graduating from University of San Francisco. He then went on to USC, got his master's in architecture, went to work for Tesla designing the Model Y car. And now he's at Google doing the Waymo vehicles.
Yeah.
And that's Jacob. And then Emily, our daughter, off of his side, she's now married with 3 kids. And my lovely wife, Amy, of course. Right. My better half that I way out kicked my coverage on.
And I would not have put this episode on without showing a picture of her, because I don't want her kicking my butt.
And our youngest Seth right there. That was in 2012. Long time ago. Proud dad.
Yeah, proud dad, man. Good deal. But I know we met through the Hoka Hay Motorcycle Challenge. I think that was our first encounter. I don't know if it was at
I think it was our IBA. I knew of you, but that IBA in Jacksonville, you took a crew and did the ride down to Key West and back.
Okay.
And I did with Todd and I rode the 1,000 miles. We got back just, I don't know how we beat you back, but we got back just ahead of you. Then we all had dinner with Bill McGowan and the rest of the crew. I forget his name, from California.
Hey, how you doing, Loco? Hey, man, thank everybody for joining us tonight. I think Big Daddy might be having some technical difficulty, but it will work out just fine.
Sure. Okay. Later on, 2020. Yeah, that was.
Okay. You were having some technical difficulties, but you're back now.
2018 or 19.
Okay.
So that was our first time we met officially. But I knew who you were, and I'd seen you and been around watching you, riding, pounding 100,000 miles a year like a madman.
Yeah, and I was with Reef, my brother.
You were with Reef then, that's right.
Me and Reef were together. And that's when we was really hot, man. We was really riding hot. We was coming in hot all the time. I think that might have been when I met Pinto, a lot of the guys at the IBA Jacks party. And that's what I tell people, man. If you go out and do a saddle sore IBA ride, there's more to the organization just in doing a saddle sore 1,000. Even if you do a BBG, what the case may be, get you the premier membership, come down to the IBA Jacks party and meet some of these amazing long distance rider. I mean, it's like another one of those events where the Hoka come together, the IBA come together, the SMA come together, historic legendary riders come there, man. So kind of put this on your calendar. The IBA Jacks party, if you're a premier member, they will send you an email. You'll start getting notifications about it. That's when you come down and you meet gentlemen like this right here. And you just never know what inspiration you're going to get out of it. Welcome, Randy. Thank you for joining us tonight. Attacker Barry's in the house. Indeed. Rick Rogers. Hey, Dana. I love
Rick
the video.
Rogers, that's his name. That's right, Dana. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep. Good man.
Yep, good man. Hey, so I'm gonna jump right into my questions right now. 40 years, 500,000 miles. You said that from the moment you got your first bike, it kind of just changed your life. The inspiration of riding, the thrill of riding. I'm gonna read this right quick. There is something about being in the wind, experiencing every aspect of the world around you, and engaging all your senses that allows you to clear out the clutter of your mind space. I have never found that same experience in a cage and behind the windshield. When I ride, I am fully present, fully awake, and in touch with the world around me, alone in my thoughts, finding a peace I couldn't find anywhere else. Tell us about it.
Man, that statement I made there sums it up. I mean, I made the mistake. You and I talked about this earlier. We said that, when I first did the Hoka in 2014, there was no group, nobody you could ask or talk to about what gear to ride or what tent was best. We didn't have that available. The Facebook hadn't come up to the point where there were groups out there. So you figured it out on your own. And I look back at how I rode then without rain gear and just leather chaps and a leather jacket and just gutting it out to Alaska. And I look at how I ride today and how I've adjusted myself to be more comfortable in the ride. So that I can pay attention to more what's happening around me. And I made a mistake in between those two times, between 2014 and now, and I put comms on my helmet. Everyone wanted, Senna or some comm system. And I thought how great I could talk to people while I'm riding. Well, all I did was distract me from the ride. Every time I'd be about to make a turn or looking for something, a client would call and they'd have to talk to me for 20 minutes. And I'd get out of the reason I was on the bike. And I was on the bike most of the times, especially in the last decade or so, for Tour of Honor or an IBA ride or the Hoka or going to raise money through leukemia, doing something with purpose on the bike. And those comms would start to distract me. Mm-hmm. And so I literally got so frustrated, I just ripped them off my helmet and threw them and never put them back on again. And I realized then that the purity of why I originally started riding, which was to just be by myself in my thoughts, contemplating where I am, paying attention to what I'm doing and enjoying every aspect of it, was getting interrupted. And I think today with our cell phones and Facebook, the spotlighting, the Instagram, everything that's coming out. I think we don't spend enough time, deep in thought and self-reflection. And so for me on the bike, when I get on the bike and take off, no one can call me, no one can bother me. I'm alone in my thoughts. Whatever route I'm taking, whether I'm flipping a coin or just seeing where I end up, it's just a world of discovery. Even when I've gone back on the same roads over and over again, as I'm sure you have, I find now that I'm not waiting for the phone to ring and I'm just paying attention to what's around me, I see things that I never saw before that I didn't know were there. And, Route 66, I've ridden I-40 100 times. And then I took a real Route 66 ride with my family on the bike and stopped at all the little places on the way and took time at the Wagon Wheel Market and the Bluebird Motel and at the Wigwam Motel, and stopped at all these places where before, the distractions of the phone and everything around me were stopping it. So being on a bike, as you experience everything, the smell, the wind, the heat, the rain.
Yeah,
everything. It's
all of your senses are working. All 5 of them are working at the same time. It's almost like an adrenaline rush that you get. You know what I'm saying? That you like you said, you don't get it in a car. You don't get it behind the windshield. So and
I'll fall asleep in a car. Driving in a car, I fall asleep. I fall asleep in a car. Never on a bike. Never on a bike. I'm smoking cigars. I'm looking around. I'm always. I'll never fall asleep on a bike because it's just so much. Sensory overload sometimes, but that my wife will tell you, she can see when I'm getting angry and frustrated, and she'll say, "Go get on the bike. I'll see you in a week." And then she allows me the freedom to take off and go. And I for all through COVID, I started really riding 80,000-90,000 miles a year, not 100 like you,
right?
And I stopped flying, and I would put my suits in the back of my bike, and I'd go to court. I'd have a nice pair of black jeans on, my Doc Martens, suit and tie. I put my jacket on. I'd be in court in Florida, California. I was in San Francisco, wherever I was supposed to go. So that's a pretty picture of me.
Yeah. And I jumped the gun a little bit on this one right here, Daddy, but I want to make sure that I get it in now. Probably about 5 years ago. Is it 5 years ago you had a heart attack?
No, 2012, I had my first heart failure. And then the second one happened after I wrecked the T-Bird on the Smoky Mountain Parkway when the brakes went out.
Right.
And I put my head through the windshield and detached my retina.
That was was that with the car?
Yeah, it was a car. That was right before the 2020 Hoka.
Yep. And I remember that.
And I got down to Panama City, and all of a sudden I got bright flashing lights, and I'm having blackout through here. And I went back, and they said, your retina's gone. And so I had to have surgery. And that sent me back into heart failure again.
Yeah, you had us all worried, man. You had us all worried. Yep.
And that was but yeah, that was my heart monitor test when they said I was gonna have sudden cardiac death, But my theme song is the rooster.
Yeah,
my theme song is the rooster. You ain't found a way to kill me yet.
Ain't found a way to kill you yet, man. I was gonna try to find that song and play it for you. And also, you had a staph infection though, and you were
I had a MRSA staph infection.
Man, you've been through it. Your riding is and I say everybody ride their own ride. Everybody ride is different. Why you ride, your perspective on this. Share your perspective on it, because like I say, having a heart attack, having a car accident, all of that in between, being an attorney, the stress of that, your perspective on it though.
So last year, it's funny you say that, because I just before the Hoka last year, I got physical. When you turn 60, you got to see a doctor more often. So they said all my blood levels were low. Like my white, red, all the blood was abnormally low. They couldn't figure out why. But I didn't have any of the associated lethargy and things that come from that. And so they found out that I had some cancer in the back of my neck that they removed in December of this last year. But before that, they said, just monitor it and see what's going on. So I was really concerned because of my heart issues and these low blood levels before I went in the Hoke. And the doctor said, "Look, you seem fine,
right?
And all. So just go and just monitor yourself." And I did exactly the opposite. We rode through a hurricane for 2 damn days. And then I was taking care of a rider that wanted me to kind of help him along. He had a smaller tank, so I didn't ride my ride. I rode his ride. Got hardly any sleep, and God bless Lee Kibbe. I ran into him in Alabama, and he let me tag along behind him all the way to Sedona when he finally said, "I just can't wait for you anymore." And he left me. And then I ended up at the Moki Dugway on day 5? Moki Dugway after a rainstorm, and there I am, broke down. The truck threw something off, hit my front wheel, blew my tire, bent my rim. That put me 8 hours behind. And look at Lee waiting there with me because he's a stud. And then I got Moki Dugway at 11 o'clock at night with no road there, and somehow migrated up that and saw the sign that said no services for 95 miles. And I'm hallucinating. I've got double vision. All of that, I think, was a product of the low blood count and not getting hydrated enough, not listening to my heart issues. And by the time I got to Green River and you guys interviewed me, my wife said, "You're done." She said, "I don't recognize you. I don't know who that is. You cannot keep going." And she was right. And I had to stop. And I had a bear that ran in front of me. Oh, look at that horrible place. I had a bear that ran in front of me on the way to Green River, and LG, because he's so awesome, sent me a message and said, the bear is a very powerful creature that watches over. Mama bear is really important in Native culture. And he said, "You saw that." Henrietta Nelson said the same thing. And she said, that was your message to stop, and you listened to that. So that helped me get through it a lot.
Right.
Was realizing that. And that's the other reason I ride is the community that we have. I can't tell you how many people, when I posted on Facebook that I was done, how many people appreciated what I said and hope that other people had listened. They sent me positive words of encouragement. That's what comes out of this biker community. It's a family, a dysfunctional family, every walk of life, every political affiliation, religious belief, work ethic, everything out that you can imagine is in this community. And every one of us in the Hoke community, especially, we would drop everything for any one of us. And we have dropped. Those are some good men right there. Wow. Yeah. Look at you trying to cover. Look at you covering your face. So
I'll actually put my glasses on.
We're sneaking up behind you.
I know.
We've lost some good riders that aren't here anymore in that picture. Roger Bias is gone.
Yeah.
Dave Ewell, of course, with his horrible accident.
Yeah.
But that community, I check on Dave all the time, and Roger's family I talk to, and it's really, thank you, Tammy. No one knows me better than Tammy Laughlin. So if she thinks I'm okay, I'm okay.
You're okay. All right. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep them on for another 30 minutes. She's seen me at my worst. But no, that's the other reason I ride is that there's some of the greatest people, some of the greatest men and women I've ever met in my life. I've met through this biker community. I mean, right.
The Hoke community, especially, they think of others.
When did you ride your first Hoke?
2014 to Alaska.
2014 to Alaska. You had a story about riding down to Florida to the start of the Hoke.
I remember I said we didn't know. There's no Facebook. I just knew that we were starting in Key West.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived in Fort Lauderdale at the time, so I just got on the bike and did the road to Card Sound and took off down. And there was a Hoke rider who in front of me on a brown bike, and I just got behind him and just followed him down. And the first person I met, that was Robert Lumpy they called him, and he was a great man, a great friend, and just an inspiration. I didn't know at the time, and he didn't tell anybody he had cancer. He had cancer. He fought it for 10 years, and rode everywhere and was at every Hockey event. He was just a bastion of positivity and love and example, and just a great, great guy. And he was the first person I met at the Hockey down in Key West. And then we ended up riding a little bit together that year into Lawton, and we slept inside the dealership in the office. And I told him to wake me up before he left, and he saw me sleeping and didn't want to wake me, so he quietly tiptoed out and left me. So I had to track him down up in Alaska that year.
So you two ended up just kind of like bumping into each other, rambling throughout the country, man.
I'd be riding through Florida,
and there
he was. I'd see it, and he had this brown bike that was, you knew it was him, and he was just a humble, loving family man, Marine. Just the epitome of what a good person should be, and I miss him tremendously. We all rode up, a number of us, probably 30 of us, rode up to Virginia to the Marine base, Marine cemetery for his burial, and seeing all those Hockey riders there to celebrate and honor him and his family. Was just amazing. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he was, man. Yeah, he was. And
this is coming into Alaska when we were coming into the Yukon. That's Matt Wolf and Dominic and myself. You can see all I have is a leather jacket and Harley rain pants, so they were useless as crap.
Right.
I just had stock lights on my 2006 Street Glide. That mud, whatever that stuff is in Alaska, never comes off. I had to throw
it. It never comes off. No matter pressure wash, heat, steam, it does not come off, because once that soot get in the cracks and crevices of your bike, your suspension,
it just chews it up.
Chews it up, and it's going to stay there. Because
so you see, Dominic's on a Dyna wide glide there, and we had heard that he had hit a buffalo and had wrecked.
A buffalo.
Yeah, coming up through the Yukon. We thought he'd hit one of the buffaloes coming up there. And so there's a photo of us riding through a herd of buffalo coming up into the Yukon. And we came into Watson Lake, and we saw a biker with his bike laying on his side and him passed out, and it was Dominic. So Matt and I got in there, woke him up, gave him 2 5-hour energy bottles, and picked his bike up. And then the three of us rode in together. We all crossed at the Homer Spit. We all crossed the finish line at the same time together. All three of us, ex-Marine, police officer, big football player, bawling our eyes out as we were so thankful to finish that ride. I think we finished like 5th, 6th, and 7th. That
man, I know, man. I know that feeling of crossing that finish line. It's a relief, but then also to me it's kind of like a letdown. Like this is it. There's no more. I want some more. But you've been. We talked briefly in pre-production. You've been in motorcycle accidents. Being an attorney. You said you understand the bias that riders get. We always looked at as being the bad guy. We always looked at being reckless. What is your take on that? What is a valued asset that you can sit there and say riders from this perspective right here?
Well, I said, this community that we're in, you as an attorney, or even as you're looking for an attorney, you want somebody who understands your situation, and going to somebody who's been on a bike, who's been in a bike accident, who's had to deal with those people who say it's all your fault, you weren't looking the right way, you weren't doing the right thing, and understanding not only the ride itself but the mechanics of being on the road, making a turn when someone rear ends you as they're coming, while they're on a cell phone or something like that. Having that knowledge, I think, gives me a unique perspective when it comes to not only the bike damage and the accident, but what a motorcycle rider goes through in recovery. That my bike there, that was in 2021. That was actually my first accident. I've laid a bike down in some soft dirt, but the first time I was ever hit was this accident right here. I was coming through Maryville, Tennessee on a back road, had another bike in front of me. He slowed down. He made the turn fine. I got my blinkers on. And as I'm making the turn, somebody comes around the curve on their cell phone and goes right through the back of me. No brakes or anything. And they hit me so hard that it flipped me off my bike and over the top of the car. And then the car went over my bike and it ripped my leather vest in half. That's how hard it hit me. And thankfully my injuries were, bruises and scratches and very little else because of the way of the impact. But after that, my riding was different. Okay. I'm always, as you're looking in front, you're looking all over the sides, looking for outs. You're saying, okay, if someone pulls in front of me, where am I going to go? I never, ever, until that accident, thought, what's behind me? What's coming up on me? Okay. And so I rode differently, even going down the highway when I'm shifting lanes. So knowing that recovery as a biker changes how you ride, it changes your perspective. And that's something that, hopefully the person who hits you's got great insurance and can cover you. The one piece of advice I give to all bikers is max your own policy. Max your uninsured and underinsured aspects of your motorcycle policy. Okay. Do not rely on the other people to cover you.
Right.
If it's there, that's great.
Yep.
But and I know it's expensive, but
tell us some of the things that and if you can, I know we'll break our show, but just tell us some of the things once we get involved with an accident. Just the
well, hopefully you're movable. Hopefully you're movable.
Right.
Your bike's movable. Make sure that you get yourself off the road. If you've got a camera or a phone, take pictures of everything around you, the road conditions. Mm-hmm. Take pictures of the other driver, the vehicles. If you can, of course, call 911 immediately. If you can't, have someone else call for you. Start making mental notes of how you're feeling and trying to think through the incident itself and what happened, so that it's clear in your mind what you were doing. That's the one thing that I remember from my accident, because I didn't see him coming. Mm-hmm. I knew exactly.
Yeah.
I knew I had both hands on my bike. I had my clicker on. I was making my turn. I knew exactly where the cars were coming at me. I just didn't see him. So, I got names of people around me, and just, take a mental list of yourself. How are you feeling? Check your body out. Hopefully you're able to move and walk around. If you're not, lay still. Give minimal information to everyone. Give very few statements to people. That's a lot, because you're processing, and you have this, when you're processing, you tend to speak. That nervous talk.
But you're on an adrenaline rush. You don't know what's going on.
So people around you are watching you.
Yeah,
they hear what did he say? Oh, he said he did this. He said he did that. And so just be mindful that you have that conversation in your head, making notes of what's happening. Give the police basic information. Of course, if there's an ambulance called, talk about what you're feeling. Be very clear. Right. Don't underestimate. If you just think, oh, it's just a little ache, identify the ache. It's in my lower back. It's where it is. Make sure that you're getting all the proper medical care that you can. And then, of course, as soon as you can, find someone you trust, find an attorney that can help you make sure that you're taken care of for everything you need to be taken care of, for work and pain and suffering, your bike, everything else that goes with it.
Right. Because I was on my way to Ocean City a few months ago, and I was sitting at the gas station, and I just so happened to look up, and there was an accident right in front of me. The car just clipped the dude. He ran off the road. I immediately jumped on my bike and went over to him. When I got up there was a nurse there, and she was kind of wanting to calm him down, but I knew he was just adrenaline. His adrenaline was just rushing. He was up walking around. I said, no, sit down. And he sat down, and I went over to his bike, turned his bike off, but he was all right. A deputy sheriff came, was on the scene, and they started him in first aid. And then, I looked at him. I knew there was enough people there that could take care of him, but he was just in such an adrenaline rush. And then his body started calming down. He vomited. He's just those effects of it.
Yeah, then the pain comes on, and then the reality sets in.
But then later on, just last week, his girlfriend reached out to me because she seen the post. The post had over 1 million views, and she said, "Thank you for helping my boyfriend, my husband. I can't remember what it was." She said, "Thank you for helping him. He's all right. He's okay." And man, it was just that right there. Sharing this with other riders. If you're listening, if you're tuning in, just kind of take this as a nugget. This is a nugget that Big Daddy's sharing with you from a professional lawyer's point of view as a rider, because we get stereotyped. We get the
my accident, the guy who hit me, unlicensed, no insurance. So, thankfully I had underinsured and uninsured policy to take care of what my needs were, my bike's needs were, to make sure that everything worked out in my favor. And the firm that I joined, I got to give them a plug, singletonschreiber.com. If you go there to that website and click on my face, my lovely face, there's a little blog of all the things, the advice you need. If you're ever in a motorcycle accident, this unfortunately happens. Hopefully you never need me, but find someone that you trust to represent you. Jack Wilson said the helicopter ride's covered. I recommend Massa and MedJet.
MedJet, yeah, I'm about to say MedJet.
Both of those, and they're minimal expense, and you think I don't need that, but Rock Wainwright blew a tire coming through Tallahassee and was in Tallahassee for a week, and when they get him home to Houston, he had MedJet, and that got him back, took care of everything, and got him safely back home. And that's Massa's great because they'll bring your bike and everything back with them. I have them both.
Right.
So and I knock on wood that I've never had to use them. I think that's great. But if I ever have to, especially if you're in another country, that's what you need. That's what you want.
Right. And while we're on the subject of losing accidents and losing brothers, in our Hoka Hey family, in our Hoka Hey community, we have lost some really good people. We've lost some good people.
Uncle, my boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Love that man.
This one touched us right here. This one touched the whole Hoka Hey community. We just knew that he would pull through. Such a strong, powerful man that we just knew he said that he can deal with it. He's going to be all right. And then when we got the call, it definitely deflated some tires, man. It really did. Now, like I say, you two were close. You two, when you two would see each other, you two would bond, gel, catch up.
I first met him in 2010. He was a flight attendant. I was working for the Seminole Tribe of Indians, and we were flying to St. Martin, and he was a flight attendant on the flight. And he wasn't the regular flight attendant, and the gal who he replaced for the day told him that there would be a very heavy Indian coming on the plane that would need a seatbelt extender, but would be embarrassed to ask for it. And he should just get the extender and give it to him. So I get on the plane, and I'm a big guy. I'm 300 pounds. I get that. And he walks up and gives me the seatbelt extender. Doesn't say a word to me. And I said, "What the heck is that for?" He said, I heard you need this. I go, "Do I look like I need a seatbelt extender? Get that damn thing away from me." And that was our first meeting. I didn't see him again for 4 years. And I saw him after the 14 Hoka Hey. And we were in a group ride out of Fort Lauderdale, and we're both looking at each other. And I said, "Seatbelt extender." He said, "I'll be damned." And we reconnected in 2015. And then he rode the first Hoka Hey with me in 2016. That photo, KSolo, that's 2020. I left with you guys out of Panama City, and then I went back to the doctor that after Reef and you had some tire bumping issues. I went to the doctor, and then Todd died.
Yeah.
And that set me for a loop.
Oh,
and I said,
man.
I was freaking out at my house in North Carolina. And I said, I've got to go see my riders. I've got to physically see them. I got to touch them. Right. And I got in the bike and I headed north, and I met Paco and his girlfriend at the time in Vermont at that checkpoint. Right. And I rode down with them. So that photo was coming through Virginia. That's where Paco and I were together. And then, of course, Todd. He and I rode. I have so many great memories. that last IBA ride that we took before the Hockey that year was. I first met Todd, the Barker community again on my birthday. I said, let's go. Bruce Hippie, Bruce Rhymes was having
shout out to Hippie,
colon cancer, panicking, freaking out. And I said to everybody did a gauntlet. I said, December 29th is my birthday. I'm riding to see Hippie and surprise him. Anyone who wants to come. Had 13 guys show up in a freezing ass rainstorm, including Todd Moreland, who didn't know any of us. And we met him on I-10 going through Panama City. And he rode all the way. That was the first time I met him for Hippie. And that showed the measure of a person he was. Didn't know anybody, just saw a bunch of riders going to help out Hippie. And he jumped on with Mike Thomas, myself, Elizondo, Levins, Buskell, and we all, Mike Brennan, all of us headed up to Hippie's house to make sure he knew that we loved him. And we were thinking and praying for him while he's going through that tough time. So, but that's why I ride, because that's the people you find that common ground. And I said to you, when I played football, I had this bond. There's Mike Thomas and Fetty, another champion, champion, like KSolo, champion,
another champion,
first finisher. You got that
that's it, man. First finisher.
But when I played football, that struggle, that battle that the ball players have together on the team. Every week fighting with your opponents, it breeds and breathes a brotherhood into each other.
Camaraderie.
And that struggle, that common struggle. And when I stopped playing football, at the age of 25, I didn't realize how empty my life had been until 25 years later. I did the Hockey, and I saw the same struggle, the same brotherhood, the same group of men and women that together were cheering each other on, struggling together, overcoming adversity, finding their inner strength, and caring for one another over themselves. That I realized how empty my life had been till then. And my wife will tell you,
man,
that first Hockey, there's two perfect examples. Dana Darcy,
it's deep, man. It's deep. It's wonderful.
Dana Darcy, incredible. I think of where she started riding. I remember riding with her to North Florida, and I don't have a helmet on, and it's freezing cold. She's dressed with every single thing you can put on your body, freezing. And I look at her now after breaking world records, just doing the ski. That's watching people grow and cheering them on and seeing them be successful is such an incredible feeling.
It is
to be a part of. Just sitting there, even in their wake as they go by you, as they go forward, is just so beautiful to be a part of it. That was it. That was in Big Bend, where Dana was changing her clothes, and Mike Thomas got distracted and ran into the back of Hopper and took out his saddlebag.
So that's not the first time Hopper been ran into the back of, because Sharif ran into the back of.
All Mike did was he just turned and you saw a woman taking her pants off right in the back of Hopper. That was that. So
Dana said, Rob, remember, I said, please leave us.
Please leave us. I hope you lose us, she said.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm telling you, I have been so blessed not only to ride with these men and women, but I've been fortunate to, when they've had legal issues, I've been fortunate to be able to help them.
Right.
And it's such a measure of you that the people you care most about call you for help. When you're down and you're struggling, trying to figure things out, and the people that you love reach out to you and say, "Hey, I need some help. Would you, can you help me?" And I've been so honored to be able to do that with a number of Hockey riders. It's been a blessing. Very humbling experience.
You have picked up a cause with Mile Monsters, with Riot, a great organization. I think they're in their first or second year of Mile Monster.
Oh, no, this is our I want to say our 6th year.
Is it 6 years? Has it been 6 years? No, it's been 6 years.
Five or 6 years, yeah. Yeah, because we were in Ireland. We were in Ireland 3 years ago.
That's right. 20, because I remember the conversation Ryan and I had up on that mountainside, and we were talking, and to
That's
see
a
it
man
come
with
to
vision right
fruition.
there.
Yes,
Riot's a man with
yes,
vision.
man. He's visionary, and we had that conversation, and it sparked it. You could see the spark. Everything just cleared up. The skies cleared up for him, and I think he just rode the rest of the Hokahey with that on his mind. And to see him just put Mild Monster together from just a you can say a piece on a napkin, a thought, and to see where it's gone now, see what your guys are doing, definitely epic. Definitely epic.
Well, I said to you yesterday at our pre-interview, you know, I there's this slogan that I've adopted. I can't take credit for it. I don't know where I first heard it, but the universe unfolds as intended. You cannot force it to do what you want or bend to your will. But if you do the next right thing, you will be where the universe needs you to be at the moment in time that you're supposed to be there. And I can't tell you how many times, you know, have you ever heard of Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA?
Yes.
Have you ever heard
Yes.
of them?
BACA.
Okay.
Yeah. BACA. Yeah.
So in 1996, I'm in Provo, Utah, going through a divorce, and I'm riding with some great people. And this is before the sex offender list is out, before anything. And we decide that we're not happy. They're lawyers, doctors, therapists, bikers. We're not happy with these pedophiles in their neighborhoods, and no one knows about them. So we founded BACA. We were the creators, myself, John Phillip, Kent Laughlin, a host of others. We started this little group, and we would go find these individuals right to their neighborhood with our little BACA patches. And we would tell the people that there was a sex offender in their neighborhood, look out for them. We started the whole process. And then I moved from Utah. I didn't do anything with BACA. I thought it was just a Utah deal. And then 10 years later, I'm in Florida, and I see someone with a BACA patch. And I'm like, holy cow, they must be from Utah. No, BACA is now international.
It's international.
You know, it's an international organization. And by doing that next right thing, I was a part of the creation of the Bikers Against Child Abuse. And I'm coming back from Minnesota right before the pandemic. I'm on a plane, and and these hippies come on with, you know, lumberjack shirts, and I'm sitting in first class, and one of them sits right next to me, and we take off from Minnesota, and one of the guys has got a patch on his eye, and I'm watching a movie called Yesterday about the Beatles. And we finished the movie, and I said to this guy, I said, that was a great movie. He said, yeah. I said, I can't imagine a world without the Beatles. And he said, neither can I. They inspired a lot of our music. And I said, you're in a band, aren't you? He said, yeah. I said, what band? He said, Kansas. So I'm sitting next to Billy Greer, the lead guitarist for Kansas. And we start talking. He says, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm kind of retired. I'm riding a bike all the time. I'm trying to do all these things, Mild Monsters. He says, you know, we work with a biker group. I said, no way, really? He said, yeah, you ever heard of Bikers Against Child Abuse? So Kansas is doing work with a group that again, the universe unfolds as intended. Doing the right thing, puts you where you need to be right when the universe needs you most. And that, you know, we fight this all the time. We think that where we are, it's not where we're supposed to be. All you have to worry about is in that moment in time, are you doing the right thing?
Are you doing the right thing?
These people here, Chris Hopper, Twister, me, Riot, these are people doing the right thing. We went to Ireland, and we changed this young man's life. I mean, he's our hero. We're his monsters, and Alfie is our hero.
All of them. All our
heroes. All these kids are just amazing. And being a part of that, what Riot started, what he does is just his vision is just an amazing, amazing dude. We just saw the Kansas City Chiefs a few weeks ago.
You did.
You know, Andy Reid was my coach in college, and because of that connection, I was able to take Turbo to Kansas City and let him spend a day with the Chiefs and meet Andy Reid. So, again, doing the right thing. It's all it is. And you'll always be where you need to be. That's it.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Big Daddy. And I had to just send that shout out to Riot, Hopper, you, everybody that's a member of Mild Monster. My hat off to you. I salute you guys, man. Continue doing great things. Continue helping out those in need, man. Those in need. It's great. It's great. Dave Bell said, saving that quote. Yes, indeed.
Universe unfolds. Do the next right thing, baby, and you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about it.
Save that quote. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hey, good evening. Who is that? TG. Oh, okay. What's up, Mac? Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Randy, thank you for joining us tonight. Oh, man. Thank you very much, Maylene. Great show. Thank you very much. Oh man, I appreciate everybody. Big Daddy has just come on, shared his journey, his experience, his perspective. A lawyer from the courtroom to the highway. He's given us some good nuggets, man. And he has a great sense of humor. If you ever meet him, he has an amazing sense of humor. And you know, you go back and you say, man, what
You're
in the
blackmailing me
world?
now with these photos.
I'm like, what in the world was this?
It's a tooth fairy. It's Halloween, baby. You gotta dress up.
And,
You gotta own it.
And you went to the neighbor house, and then the neighbor daughter was like, Dad.
Yeah, tooth fairy's at the door, Dad. I was even dressed in a costume for that one. She came by and remembered me from Halloween.
Oh man, good deal, Big Daddy. Yeah. Good deal, man.
At least you didn't show a tummy picture. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I just wanted to just kind of
there's a number of those embarrassing
Oh
moments.
Yeah. Oh man. Listen,
always laugh at yourself, KSolo. Laugh at yourself. Don't take
have
yourself
to.
too seriously.
You take it too serious, man. You're just gonna burn yourself out. You're just gonna burn yourself out. I know
Big Heinz.
Yeah, Big Heinz. Thank you for joining us, Big Heinz. Thank you for joining us. We'd love to get you on the show too and talk about your perspective, man, and some of the great things.
That's the OG original. Okay.
Yeah.
Riding that old bike, no radio, no speakers, no nothing fancy.
Right. Yeah, nothing. And I definitely want to send out
right there.
I definitely want to send a shout out to Dave Ewell, man. We love you, Dave. You in our prayers.
You see what's on his neck, don't you?
Yes, I do. I see what's on his neck. Yes, I do. And I would have
my necklace, the Cherokee people, the connection.
That's
we're all connected. We're all struggling. We're all going through sorrow. And these colors of that brightness at the end of our journey. Don't forget, we're all connected.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We're getting ready to wrap up this show. Big Daddy, man. I just kind of just want to just open the floor up. If anybody have any questions to Big Daddy for about the next 5 or 10 minutes, put them in the comments. We definitely get them answered. He's ridden over 500,000 miles. He's been riding over 40 plus years. He's an attorney who rides. He's got great advice. He dropped some nuggets on us tonight. And he's in the Hoka community. And not only that, he's in Mile Monsters. He is a true warrior for helping others and for great causes. So, folks, it's been an honor to have you on the show.
That's the only reason we're here, KSolo, is to help one another. That's it.
That's right.
No other reason to be on this earth is but one another.
That's right. And so what's in store? What's the future hold for you?
Well, I'm a head out to Utah, take some time on the bike and ride to see my grandkids and try and regroup. I said that last year's Hoka was the last one for me. And as often, just like a pregnant woman wants to have more kids and forgets how hard the birth was.
You read that, right?
That's right.
Uranus.
That's the best question.
Uranus.
So I'm going to start planning and see maybe next year's Hoka might be in my cards. We'll see. Henrietta, she was riding Route 66 and I saw where she was and I texted her and said, hey, let's get dinner. And she wouldn't tell me what hotel she was in. She wouldn't say nothing. She didn't know who I was. She was uncertain. And next morning we had breakfast right there on Route 66. She felt comfortable enough to meet me for breakfast, not at her hotel or my hotel. And we've been best friends ever since. She stayed with me, and she's an amazing Hoka rider, that young lady right there.
Yes, she is, man. Sparkle, I had her on the show. Incredible. I really enjoyed having her on. I would love to bring her back on. She ride with a great group of women who just all over the country, man. There she is right there. Yeah. By all means, man, by all means. And her husband is a great guy as well.
Yeah, she lost her son recently. Tragedy. Yeah. And but the most memorable ride I've ridden, the Moki Dugway.
Okay.
10:30 at night after it was washed out. That's the most. That one there. I'll never get that.
That's Dave Bell. Yeah, Dave Bell asked that question.
The most memorable thing I've seen was Tour of Honor. I was two things in Tour of Honor. I stopped to get gas, and a guy asked me where I was headed, and I said wherever I end up. And he laughed. He said, "No, really." And I told him, "I'm riding the Tour of Honor. I'm hitting military memorials in every state. There's 7 of them. And we give our money to Wounded Warrior Project and other military groups." And he was a caricature of an old Texas farmer, bib overalls, gray hair, driving a 1972 Ford pickup truck. And he reached into his pocket and he pulled out a $100 bill and he said, "Here, you take this from my son. He was an Iraqi vet and came back and we couldn't save him and he killed himself in my field." And I thought, holy crap.
Wow.
To hear what he was going through and for him to think at that moment to give me money to give to the Wounded Warriors for his kid. And I went from there to Missouri to a monument that was it's kind of an Aztec monument. Looks like an Aztec pyramid. It's got a Quetzalcoatl going around it. And there was a woman putting flags around for July 4th. And I said, "Why was she doing that?" And she said, "Because my father is on this monument. This is his face right here." And I said, "Really?" And so I started talking to her. And while I was talking to her, the artist who designed it pulls up in his car. And I got to meet the guy who built and designed this monument and learn the story of the Hispanic Americans that were in this town during World War II. And when everyone went to war, the Hispanics that was left behind, they operated all the factories. They kept everyone working in business and the arms being made. And that when the people came back and took their jobs, they moved to a little a railroad car neighborhood and started living in these railroad cars because they would give them a house. And there were so many of them that the city decided to annex the railroad area so they could tax the houses they were living in. And they built this monument to that Hispanic American, U.S. American cooperation in World War II that survived that. So that was probably one of the best memories I've had. And the most, you can't say, KSolo, how many things have you seen that you go, "Oh my gosh"?
Oh God, yes. I can't remember. That's why I take pictures. I can't remember
waterfalls. Alaska, the Klondike.
Yeah. Oh man.
People's kindness. I've seen the good and the bad.
The good and the bad.
I do when I'm riding. I try to see something amazing every day and meet somebody amazing. So I do go out of my way to talk to people, to hear their story. And so far, I knock on wood, I've never been disappointed at the things I've encountered and the stuff I've seen when I've ridden with that intent and that purpose.
Yes. We got another question from Randy right quick. And all of the time, in all of the miles you've ridden, what is the most memorable thing that you've seen? And that's seen, not the ride, seen.
I probably riding the Cascades on the 14 Hokahay coming up to the top of the Cascade Mountains back down into Vancouver in Canada. That view from the top of those mountains and then through Banff was crazy. That was breathtaking. Of course, all of the Alcan is gorgeous, but that was very memorable, coming to the top of that mountain and then riding back through and then into Banff the next morning through the fog and the mist. That was humbling.
Yes. Hey, Kathy, thank you for joining us. And tell Champ I said hello. Would love to get Champ on.
To another champ?
Yeah, to another champ. I might have a champion session, man. Dirty Dan is out doing his 48 and 10 ride.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's out doing his 48 and 10 ride. They should be giving
prayers up for old man Pat Cornell that he rides and finishes this 125 and 125.
Yep.
Hopper, of course, went down. God bless him. Glad he's okay.
Yep. And I think Bill, there was 3 gentlemen out riding. I think his name is Bill. I think he went down as well.
Yep.
So right now, old man Pat Cornell is kind of the sole rider out there now, getting it in. He's still strong.
He's past the halfway point. He's going to do it.
Past the halfway point. He's still strong. His routine is intact. His rest period is good. His bike is running good. Indian is working with him whenever he has some difficulties. In the beginning, he had some not so happy dealership that want to help him, but now I think corporate is involved and he's getting the service that he needs to kind of make it work. Exactly. that's devastating. We've lost as many brothers and sisters to suicide. Yes, indeed, we have.
Yep.
Great show. Thank you very much, Joe Bev. What is something that's still on your bucket list?
I haven't ridden a motorcycle in Hawaii. I've been in all 50 states, Canada, Alaska, Mexico. I would like to ride Hawaii, and I really want to ride Australia. My mother's from Australia. For those of you who know me, you see my kangaroo balls that hang from my belt loop. That's where my keys for my bike are. My mom got those for me when she was in Australia, and I would like to ride the circumnavigate Australia. I know there's a couple people that are thinking of doing it next year or the year after that I'm talking to. I'd like to do that. That's on my bucket.
And we lost one of our Canadian. Yeah, we lost our Canadian brother Bam up there. I was following.
I'm not going to do his ride. I'm not doing that. I want to.
You're not going to do
I just want to go around Australia.
Right. And I was following his spot, man. And when it stopped, we were just like
Big Billy.
Yeah. Big Bill McGowan, man.
Another person we lost.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And McGowan motivated, inspired me. He had his vest, and I always say, aspire to inspire, be legendary. And he had his vest, and I had all these patches from places that I've been and things that I've seen and IBA rides. And when I saw Bill inspired me and motivated me. I said, let me put this together. Let me put my hard chapter vest together. And I put it together. And me and Bill was in Alaska. And we were like just zigzagging all over Alaska from the top to the bottom. I don't think he didn't do the Dalton Highway, but we were zigzagging and I could never catch him. And it took all the way till we were in Mexico, getting ready to go down to do the Mexico IBA ride. And then that's when we saw each other and we took this amazing picture together. And I told him, I said, man, you inspire me, you motivate me, Bill. And then riding the Hoka with him throughout all the trials and tribulation that he had, it was just, it hurt when we got the call. It hurt, man. And he rolled with that. He rolled with that knowing. And Bill touched a lot of people. And Bill was like, he didn't want anyone to know. Do it look like I give a F? Give
a fuck. That's right. He's still a gaff.
Do it look like I
all the way, baby.
All the way, baby.
100%. I rode for 3 days with him in September before he passed, just on a whim. And can I ride with you? I said, sure. He was going to his brother's house and he got to town. He said, you know what? Screw my brother. I'm going to ride with you. Spent 3 days together, and I'm so glad we did. It just gives me a great memory. Right, he's a good man. Good man.
Yeah. Scott Goslick. Okay. And Moose says, out of all the states, would you say that Utah has some of the best looking views from highways? I
don't know. The 101 from Santa Barbara up through Whidbey Island, up the West Coast, through Oregon and Washington is breathtaking.
It is.
I mean, I don't hell, the Grand Canyon, Sedona, the Canyon lands, growing up and living in Utah for years, riding all over there. They're definitely beautiful, no doubt about it. But coming by Mount Hood or Mount Rainier on a motorcycle or Mount Shasta by Crater Lake. That's breathtaking coming around that mountain.
Right.
So yeah, that's.
Well, I think I lost him, folks. He probably fell off. But hey, man, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Are you there? You fell off.
I'm here.
You fell off. Okay, there you go. You fell off, but you're back.
I'm back.
Okay. I was just wrapping up, telling everybody, thanking them for joining us. This is your sticker. Before I go, let me know the definition of the red palm and your sticker, Big Daddy.
So the red hand has become synonymous with the Violence Against Women's Act and the missing and murdered Indigenous persons in the Native American community. And oftentimes you'll see Native women or men, they'll have the red hand over their face because they've been told to be silent about this. And And the reality is that there are literally 8,000 Native women and children and men who have been murdered and never found, and never had their crime solved. They've been, just forgotten. And so beginning back in 2009, we started this Violence Against Women's Act to call attention to it. And then about 2014 or 15, it started to become more of an issue. And I worked with Amnesty International to do the Maze of Injustice, which was a journal of how Native women have been treated, where they would come and report rape or a crime, and the police officers would just call them drunken Indians and forget about them and not follow up, or say they'd find somebody's body shoved under a tree in a river and say, oh, they probably just drowned and ended up there, and just kicked it aside. So having these are some of my Native brothers and sisters that we ride with in the Cherokee Brotherhood here. That was on the Trail of Tears ride to Tahlequah. But so the missing and murdered, the red hand has come to symbolize the missing and murdered women and children, and to call attention to the fact that they're still missing, and we still need to do more and do what we can to find them and solve the crimes.
Yes. Big Daddy, I thoroughly enjoy having you on the show tonight.
I'm honored. I'm beyond honored, KSolo.
I hope I
made the hotel and pizza I bought you worth it.
and folks, listen, Big Daddy met Sharif and I was doing Sharif and I and Big Dave, we were doing our big rat gold ride. And I mean, we were just riding all around the continental United States. And Big Daddy met us in North Carolina,
down Wilmington, Sail Beach,
Yep, and then we rode, and then at South.
Got your hotel room and pizza, just so you don't have to worry about it.
Pizza, man, got us hotel and pizza. We were dog beat tired, and I actually gave him one of my patches. Big Daddy, I was looking for that picture. I was searching for that picture, and I will probably find it, and I will post it on my social media.
I'll never forget you pulling in, ready to ride some more, and Reef pulling in like a dirt dog, tired. He's like, and I said, "What time we get up tomorrow?" You said 5 o'clock. 5 a.m. we were out, because I know you like to start that day with the sun.
That's it, man. But the sun coming up, we roll it. But so you definitely got one of my Aspire to Spire Be Legendary patches. It was an honor to present that to you, man. And I got one of your stickers in my tour pack. So you riding with me, man. Continue to do the great work. We're all connected,
man.
Yes. My
I got your back. You got mine. Wherever we are, if we need each other, we're gonna come.
Yes, indeed. So, sir, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm gonna let you go. Is there any final word that you want to share with the audience tonight? Because I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody on Facebook, on YouTube, on all social media platforms that's been tuning in. The questions have been great. Your presence has been great. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you all for showing any interest in this grizzled old biker's life. I appreciate you being here and listening to me spout off like I know anything. But just go out, do good things, do the right thing. You'll be right where you need to be, and hopefully we all one day will leave this planet, and we'll be sorely missed that we're no longer here because of the people that we've been. So don't take everything's personal. Don't take everything personally, and just know that we all got each other's backs, and we're able to help each other, and we'll get it done.
Right. We will, folks. And Big Daddy, I want you to take care of yourself, man. Take care of that heart. Take care of your health. Continue to inspire.
I gotta do epic shit, man.
There you go, man. And there it is, folks. I'm gonna put it up, big screen right there. Do epic shit.
Do epic shit, man. That's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do.
That's what we're gonna continue to do.
Right, my brother.
All right, Big Daddy. I'm gonna let you go, man. You take care of yourself. All right, brother. You take care.
See it.
All right. Oh man, folks, it's been a good one. It's been an honor to have Big Daddy on with us. If you know him, he's a giant of a man. He's a giant of a man. From the moment that I met him down in Florida, I look forward to seeing him whenever I see him. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We're riding with KSolo, the podcast. Couple of things I just want to announce. We'll be doing Trip Talk with Most Wanted coming up Thursday. Most Wanted went up to Alaska, to Hyder, Alaska by herself. And we're gonna dive into her ride and everything that she experienced, people that she bumped into, some lessons learned, people that mentored her. We're gonna talk about it all. We're just gonna peel back the layers of the onion and let her share her journey, amazing journey. And if you know somebody that's been on an amazing journey, and you want to get them on Trip Talk, hit me up on social media through Messenger. If you got my number, give me a call, send me a text, and that way we can get them on to highlight them. And also remember, we're going to be doing the Reef and KSolo official ride to eat in Little Rock, Arkansas this year. Little Rock, Arkansas. Go to the Facebook group page, go to the Facebook event page to get all of the information. We can't wait to see everybody there. Like I say, we're going to have some heavy hitters there. We're going to have some long distance riding legends going to be there. We're going to have some social media influencers there. We're going to have the president of the Iron Butt Association, Mike Kneebone, there. We're going to have Mark from the SCMA there. Who else knows going to be there, folks? Hero Benson, and hopefully we get Mr. Moses is going to be there. Hopefully we get more people to come out to this event. This is a family reunion. It's a big old family reunion. It's not a party. All are welcome. All is going to be safe. It ain't about blasting music. It's about us getting together, hugging, taking pictures, seeing each other, and eating. So bring your appetite when you come to the ride to eat. All right, folks, I'm going to get ready to wrap this thing up. Thank you, Dana, Dave. Good Lord, man. We got some people commenting. I can't even understand what that is. But thank you for joining us tonight. Hines, good deal. All right, folks. Well, listen, I'm going to get ready to wrap this thing up. Remember, aspire to inspire, be legendary.